Penn State at home to Iowa. Penn State 6.5, 52 at home, 12:30 ESPN. Iowa comes in 6-1 straight up and 6-1 ATS. Penn State 5-2 straight up. Penn State 12-3 overrun against ranked teams. Wild scene last week. Iowa shut out Maryland 23-0, held them to 7 first downs and 115 yards. Penn State was outgained and outplayed, and lucky to get the win against Indiana. Iowa number 3 in total defense. Can they pull the upset on the road where Penn State has already gone down against Sparty and blew a big lead and lost to Ohio State in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Hawkeyes, number 3 in total defense, number 5 in points per game allowed. They're only giving up 2 touchdowns a game. And obviously, when you're facing a defense of this caliber, in theory, it should be pretty hard to lay points. But, I mean, the markets have kind of crashed on Penn State now. You know, they had the bad loss, obviously, to Sparty. They had the loss to Ohio State prior to the bye. But even before that, remember the game against Illinois, where they were trailing in the second half against the Illini. And then last week against Indiana, where, you know, they gave up 500 yards in that ballgame. They were pushed around at the line of scrimmage against Indiana. That's not a good sign when you're talking about Kirk Ferentz, who's the longest tenured head coach in all of college football now. Ferentz is the last one standing from the 90s. And when you look at what they've done offensively, however, that's where my questions come, because Nathan Stanley just doesn't do it for me. And even last week, against a team that could not move the football, Iowa's struggling to wear them down. They're not putting the game away until the latter stages. That's a concern for me against a Penn State squad where, yeah, Trace McSorley's been great, but the markets, they're kind of soft on Penn State right now. There might be a little bit of value on the Nittany Lions side here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Franklin's terrible. That's another problem as well. Iowa banged up. Kelly Martin, running back. The injuries have been challenging. One of the biggest things we focus on is having the next man up mentality. While I was gone, the guys that were there produced for me to come back. And this damn quote. And while I was gone, the guys that were there produced from. It's hard when you got to read a screen and you got to scroll down because the thing's so goddamn long. For me to come back and give it everything I got really helped us. Total's gone under in 4 of the last 5 games on the road against Penn State. It's a tough game to handicap. I'm with the trends here. I would like the under in this one, as Penn State's offense appears to be broken with some shaky play calling. I am also with you that I don't trust Stanley and I don't trust this Iowa offense. Yes, they lost at Wisconsin, which looks worse by the day, but they lost to Wisconsin at home, but also blew a lead in that one late and couldn't get a stop, but also couldn't put them away and do much on offense in that game either.
Sure, but this was a 2-point game last year. This has been a very competitive series. And Iowa, you know, you talk about that one bad loss to Wisconsin, which was a competitive game, and there was a late turnover that made the final margin look kind of ugly. But that's the only point spread loss they have this year. In fact, the Hawkeyes, 8-1 straight up and against the spread their last 9 games. They have been consistently an undervalued commodity. That being said, I don't think they're better than Penn State, and I'm not willing to bet them to pull the upset. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.